Hello there, welcome to a brand new edition of Sports Pizza. My name is Eguavoen. I'm sure you had exciting time watching the Super Eagles of Nigeria in action on the continent. Not just the Super Eagles of Nigeria, we also saw the big teams across the continent doing their stuff, giving us goals and memorable performance. But this weekend, action switches back to club football, where we're giving you all of the analysis on your favorite sports show. It is Sports Pizza, and my name is Eguavoen. I'm not doing this alone. I have David for company, and together we'll make sense of all that we have on the show for you today. From the world of tennis, where Yannick Sinner reigns supreme, to the boxing world, where the question I'll be asking David, was it a travesty or entertainment? All of this and so much more when we return from this short break. Don't change the channel. Sports Pizza, we'll be right back. Welcome back. It is Sports Pizza. David, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Edwin, I'm good. Pleasure to be here as always. Pleasure to be doing this with you. I think for the first time in a while, I actually got emotionally invested in international football, not concerning Super Eagles, but for vested reasons. Let's not go into that. But I'm ready for club football to resume. I've missed Arsenal. I realize Arsenal control a lot of my emotions.
Arsenal or Super Eagles?
It's Arsenal for me.
Arsenal for you?
Arsenal for me.
Okay. Now, it takes me to this very interesting conversation. I've had it off air with a couple of friends and colleagues. Yeah. Why is there little interest in international football and so much interest in club football? A decade ago, let me speak for myself, specifically growing up, international football was the catch. Now, why is there a paradigm shift 20, 30 years after?
I think for me, our generation still, I think we still have that attraction to international football. I think it's the coming generation, the Gen Zs and the millennials. I think they've grown up with this, modern club football and the craze around club football. It's always in your face every day of the week. You go on social media, it's there. You go on most of these clubs handles. They are greeted with everything about them week in, week out, day in, day out, every minute. And I think international football doesn't have that much. Those players converge once in maybe in a few months. For 1 week, 2 weeks, they are together and then they disperse again. So I think you don't grow that much affiliation to them. You are more used to them playing for their clubs.
But back in time, it was still the same international window for national team football, and you had club football day in, day out. What's the difference? It's still the same window, the same calendar. Little or nothing has changed.
I think it's the social media aspect. I think social media has done a lot more for club football. I think club football generally has harnessed the power of social media. International football has not done much about it. I think you look at these clubs, most of them, they're always tweeting something about the clubs, about their players, but the international teams, we don't how many national teams are as active on social media as the way clubs are. And I think social media has played a huge role in this.
All right, let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We're through to the African Cup of Nations. Overall, what did you make of the qualifying process?
I think we got there in the end. We were expected to qualify, and we did it with games to spare. But I think one asterisk that still remains, and I think is where we need to be worried going into the World Cup qualifiers next year, is our away form. The fact that we went through this series, Nations Cup qualifiers, without winning away from home. We got draws away from home. We couldn't win away from home. It seems like Rwanda, it seems like Benin Republic, and it's strange. We are going into the World Cup qualifiers against some of these same teams. How are we going to improve? And I think it's one of the reasons why I think Eguavoen will he be able to get us over the line. There's a lot of positives around him, but crunch time, will he deliver?
For some people, they still remember the AFCON, the vestige of the failure at the AFCON and the World Cup qualifiers still remains in our memory. But overall, he hasn't done particularly bad. Should he continue with the job? I know I've asked this question time and again, but now that the dust has settled, we have the AFCON in the bag. Should Eguavoen continue? Should we have that continuity with Eguavoen? Or, like you said, our away form in the AFCON qualifiers tells you that there's a problem, and that problem cannot be fixed with a foreign technical coach. I
think for me, I was a hard pass on Eguavoen continue. I felt let's just give it to a foreign technical advisor to take the team forward. But I think with the fact that the NFF are still dragging their feet, we've not had any serious names. I think Eguavoen should be given another chance. I'm also of chances, second chances. I think we saw the 2021 Nations Cup.
Yeah.
They looked good at the beginning, and then they fizzled out. Some of the issues were in his control, some were beyond his control. But I think he has shown enough. I think as a man, he has learned some lessons, and I think he can lead the team forward. I think the job should be given to him on a substantive basis.
At the pro, Eguavoen camp will tell you the team, like you said, have grown. There's more maturity. There's better understanding with Eguavoen. But hey, all in all, we need to be at the World Cup. Yes, it's not a God-given bet, right?
Yeah.
But we should qualify. We cannot miss. And for the players' sake, they must do everything within their power to qualify for the World Cup. Yeah. Now, the last time we played at the World Cup was 2018. Victor Osimhen, if he misses this opportunity, the next time he'll have another opportunity. It will be 30 already. Yeah. Some players will be in the wrong side of 30. Few of them would have retired. So, hey, it's imperative that we hit the ground running. 6 games, we must get maximum points in all 6 games to ensure that we qualify for the World Cup. From there, we go to the NPFL, the Southwest Derby, Ikorodu City versus Shooting Stars. It delivered from a goal down. Ikorodu City got all 3 points, and they continue their rise through the top of the table.
I think for me, this result was Ikorodu City well and truly arrived in the NPFL. They have taken their place among the elite. We saw a bit of what they could do at the Super 8, and a lot of teams felt, oh, this is a team that has quality. And I think they added a bit of spice. One of the scorers is Review Ayemwere, who was with Sporting Lagos last season. He scored the opening goal of the NPFL. Yeah. So I think they've added some experience, quality. You can see their football on play. The fact that no team has scored more goals than them in the NPFL this season, they have 16 goals, even more than Remo Stars, who are topping the table. It shows you that there's excitement in this team, and they go away from home. If you play football the right way, you go away from home. I think their approach to the NPFL has changed with the new manager, and I think they will do all the way. Objective remain in the NPFL is guaranteed, I think, at this point. The
biggest game of the weekend, Remo Stars versus Rivers United, failed to deliver on all fronts, David.
I think for
ended goalless.
For the teams, for the neutrals, you feel it ended goalless, and it was not the whole spectacle it was served up to. But I think for both teams, none of them want to relinquish points at this point in time. A loss for either of the teams would have been catastrophic. A draw, 1 point, retained. I think it still leaves both teams separated by a point on top of the table. It means the NPFL fight is still on.
All right, other results. Akwa United got a much-needed win against Nasarawa United, ended 1-0, despite ending the game with a man down. El Kanemi defeated Niger Tornadoes by a lone goal. Kano Pillars and Heartland played a 2-2 draw, and the veterans on the score sheet, Rabiu Ali and Ahmed Musa. Abia Warriors and Enyimba played out a 1-1 draw in the derby. Sunshine Stars defeated Lobby Stars by a lone goal. Kwara United defeated Plateau by 2-0. Bayelsa United were held at home by Katsina United. Game ended 1-1. And Rangers defeated Bendel Insurance in a 5-goal thriller, ended 3-2 in favor of the defending champions. And for fixtures in match day 13, El Kanemi hosts Akwa United, Shooting Stars entertained Bayelsa United, Katsina United versus Remo Stars, Niger Tornadoes host Ikorodu City, Bendel Insurance are at home against Kwara United, Plateau United host Nasarawa United, Rivers United are up against Abia Warriors, Heartland host Rangers International, Enyimba versus Sunshine Stars, and Lobby Stars will entertain Kano Pillars. All right, away from the home scene, David, let's head down to Turin, where the ATP Tour Finals went down, and Yannick Sinner reigned supreme. He became the first player since Ivan Lendl in 1986 to win the ATP Tour Finals without dropping a set. Taylor Fritz was the opponent on the day. It was no match for Yannick Sinner. 6-4, 6-4 it ended, and he had an absolutely brilliant year for the Italian.
Yeah, absolutely. Strong year for him. What a fantastic year he had. Fine, we had all the issues that happened off the court, but I think on the court he delivered performances to remember. 70 wins this year. He has unbeaten this year, and every game he played this year, he won a set in at least every game he played. Fantastic one. I think he's the man of 2024. I think it's fitting that the world #1 ended the year winning the ATP Tour Finals, and I think for him, he lost the final last year to Novak Djokovic, and at that point he was still an unknown quantity. He hadn't won any major title, but I think he headed into 2024 on the back of that, and I think he was successful. His first 2 Grand Slam titles, about 7 ATP titles as well, and then the ATP Tour Final. I think fantastic one for him, the man of 2024.
And for Yannick Sinner, let's do his year in review. He won the Australian Open, won the Rotterdam title, won the Miami Open, won the Hill Open, won the Cincinnati Masters, the US Open, the Shanghai Masters, and the ATP Tour Finals. So 70-6 win-loss record. It puts him at 92.1%. World number one by 3,915 ATP ranking points. What a phenomenal year for Yannick Sinner. But hey, like David said, the jury is still out. The case, the drug case with WADA is still there, and we're waiting for the outcome. If that happens, he's found guilty, then it puts all of these achievements under a bad light. Talking about bad light, in Texas, was that an entertainment? Was it a fight? Or was it travesty? Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
I think for me it was a travesty for the sport of boxing. It's not what the sport of boxing needs at this point in time. I find you say it brings the glamour, but Jake Paul as a whole, as a boxer, he has not fought any proper boxer at this point in time. He's fighting influencers, fighting YouTubers and things like that. So I think the fact that after the fight he went on social media and was having a go at Crawford, former UK world champion as well, he feels like he's looking for clout, and I don't think boxing needs that kind of clout. Every sport needs clout, but that kind of clout is not what the sport needs.
Isn't this more on the boxing fraternity than Jake Paul? If a YouTuber, if an entertainer can pull in the crowd, pull in the revenue, on the night he got $40 million. Mike Tyson went with $20 million. If a YouTuber can pull in such numbers, but your prized fighters do not have such numbers, it means you need to look inward. It is not on Jake Paul. It is not on Mike Tyson. It is not on the Logan brothers. It is on the boxing fraternity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm just saying it from a perspective of a fan or somebody who follows the sport. But for the boxing organizers themselves, the boxing bodies, I think the box falls at their doorstep. The fact that a YouTuber, someone who did not follow the conventional route into the sport, is able to generate more clout, it means there's something they're not doing right. If somebody like that, he got on Netflix and the streaming numbers really broke record. It tells you that the boxing bodies need to do a lot to actually promote the sport. It's not just about the fighting in the ring. There are a lot of things that need to go. And if there's one or two things they can learn from Jake Paul and how he has managed his career to this level, I think they need to learn one or two things.
All right, so learning doesn't stop. No one knows it all. No man is an island. We need to go on a short break. When we return, there's more on the other side. Don't change the channel. It is still Sports Pizza with Edwin and David. Welcome back to the second half of the show. Edwin and David still on set. All right, David, let's start with the Nations League. France drew with Israel, but defeated Italy away from home. They topped the group. Italy finished second. They're through to the quarterfinals. Once again, Didier Deschamps has come under the spotlight. The camp is divided. There are some who feel he has done his best. His best years are past him, and it should allow for a modern manager to come in. But others will tell you, hey, the results are there. Therefore, he needs to continue. Where do you stand?
I think for me, France are caught between a rock and a hard place at this point in time. You talk about the results; they keep coming under the division. But the problem is, at the early part of his, tenure as the manager, the results were coming. The performances were also good, but now the performances seems to have stalled a bit, even though results are coming when it's most needed. I think the Euros gave us a clear example that something is really missing at this point in time. Probably has reached the end of his cycle. The result against Italy was a good one, but then there was a result against Israel as well. So it feels like, when push comes to shove, probably the Deschamps has tapped out completely what he can offer the French national team.
That's something missing. Is that Kylian Mbappe?
No, I don't think so. I think generally the French national team is lacking a lot of stardust. Fine, Mbappe is the biggest name they have right now, but I think the support cast has been good generally over even his period in the team. But now it's beginning to thin out. The quality is beginning to thin out. So I don't think he'll be able to even carry the team heading into the next generation. And
Belgium are shadow of themselves right now. The glory days, the golden generation is gone. And the reality now is that there are no assurances that Belgium will qualify for the World Cup. Such has been their drop-off in quality and also in terms of performance. And from there, let's talk about England. qualify from Group B. They will be in the top tier
League
in the next Nations League cycle.
Yeah.
But overall, we've seen that this team has depth, this team has quality. But the big question is, can Thomas Tuchel merge these talents, create a unit, and deliver the World Cup in 2026?
I think for me, Thomas Tuchel is the right man to lead them into this next phase. I think his CV speaks for him, his career as a whole, generally as a manager who has, cup performances, when he push comes to shove, he is able to deliver results, and is able to bring together players and get the tactics on board and deliver results when it matters more. But I think the issue we have is, because he's a German and then the English seem like they have issues with German manager, looking at how can a German manager be the one to lead our brightest crop of young players. But if England wants to actually excel on the world, to actually bring home a title, I think Thomas Tuchel looks like the man to bring it for them.
All right, talking about titles, the Manchester United are in a new dispensation. Ruben Amorim is taking charge of his first training session with the club. David, what should Manchester United fans expect from Ruben Amorim, and also from the outside? What is the target for Amorim in the short term and the long term?
I think for United fans, what they can expect is somebody who is a rabble-rouser, who will come in and shake up their apple cart and make an instant impact. That shaped his career over his career, at Sporting Lisbon, even at Casapia before he got to Sporting Lisbon. I think for United, a young manager is coming in. He's coming in also with a young backroom staff, guys who are looking to make a mark in European football. They are very hungry, and I think for them, they are going to try to initiate a style of play, a certain way. We saw Sporting Lisbon under Ruben Amorim. They had a way they wanted to play, and also the fact that he could get players to play in the way he wants to play. He was not complaining about, I don't have this player to work in this system, I'm not going to work. So he will get a player and fix him in the position he wants him. So he's not a manager who is about, the players I want. It's about my system and then fitting players into the system. So I think United can look forward to that.
All right, so still talking about club football, the rumors were rife during the break that Real Madrid were looking in the direction of Xavi Alonso. But when you take a look at the league table, David, Real Madrid are 6 points behind Barcelona with a game in hand. Hypothetically, they win that game, it drops down to 3 points. Now, Barcelona have the head-to-head advantage if it comes down to both teams level on points. But from the Real Madrid's perspective, David, is the panic justified? Even if it's rumor, is it justified?
I don't think so. I don't think the panic is justified. I think a lot of you've explained that the situation is glaringly. As a football person, when you look at how the situation is, the season is just about 13 games in. They are 6 points behind with a game in hand. I'm very certain, I'm almost certain that at the end of the season, it's going to come down to the head-to-head that is being talked about. They might go to the Camp Nou at the end of the season and then get a victory as well, something as the kind of victory, the kind of defeat they got. So the Clasico was not the major pointer to how the season was going to end for them. Ancelotti is still in charge, and I think things are beginning to gel. And I think he has shown over the time, with what he did last season, I think he has enough credit to the bank to lead this team to the end of this season. Talking
about credit in the bank, if he goes trophyless this season, is that credit enough to save him?
I don't think so. I think if he eventually goes trophyless this season, I think that might be when it's time to pull the play. I think Real Madrid are looking forward to a new dispensation with a new set of players that they have. They will probably want a new person to lead them. A manager like Xabi Alonso is being linked to the job. If he doesn't get them a title this season, the league goes into the Champions League as well. I think it might be time to let him live honorably.
Finally, Xabi Alonso, is he ready to take charge of a club the size of Real Madrid?
I think you will not be able to judge if he's ready until he actually gets the job. If you are waiting for when he's going to be ready, when is the best time to appoint him? I think the best time is now. Was Company ready when he was given the Bayern Munich job? We were not able to tell until he got the job. Ruben Amorim as well. Was he ready when he got the United job? But you need to just take the plunge. Was Arteta ready when he took the Arsenal job? We cannot be guaranteed of that until he gets the job. It's just about taking the punt and heading in the right direction. Yes,
heading in the right direction, and that direction is the weekend games. The club football back across the continent, from Africa and of course down to Europe. Go out there, enjoy the games, and we'll be giving you the best analysis when we make a return on the show. We'll leave you with our video of the week. Do remember to give us a follow on our social media platforms. The handles are now showing on your screen. David, once again, it's a pleasure having you on set today.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to do this with you. From David, it's goodbye.
And from me, Edwin Onyeboli, said, do have a sporting weekend. See you same time next week. Have fun. God bless you.